AskReddit. Who is actually the best human being of all time?
Jonas Salk, who declined patenting the polio vaccine. At the time, polio paralyzed 13 to 20,000 children annually in the US. He appeared on national television and presented the vaccine as a gift to the American people and the world. When asked about it, he said, "There is no patent. Could you patent the sun?" He inspired a nation to give. In the year after the polio vaccine, 80 million people donated to help spearhead the vaccine effort. Even those who could only give a little, which led to the National Foundation for Infantile Paralysis' modern nickname, the March of Dimes.
You are alive today because of Stanislav Petrov. We all are. He ignored a direct order after correctly identifying a missile alert as a false alarm. The Soviet systems were reporting 5 incoming American missiles that just did not exist. Had he followed protocol, we would most likely all be dead due to mutually assured nuclear annihilation.
To be honest, it's probably someone we've never heard of or has never been lauded, interviewed, or been written about. They move unassumingly throughout the world, helping, not harming, loving without condition, without ideology or followers. If goodness could be quantified and measured, this individual would remain far from the public eye and continue their pure loving acts without any desire to be recognized. Or it's some really great politician or lawyer in DC.
My stepdad. Once upon a time, my mom and dad had 10 kids, and then my mom divorced my dad. Before the divorce was finalized, my mom forced herself on the guy next door, and guess what? Got pregnant again for the 11th and final time. The guy next door was like, "Fuck it, I'll marry this bitch, cause I'm not a fucking simp, and even though she took advantage of me, I'll raise my kid, and I'll raise the other kids as well." After 12 years of being the most patient and kind man, he had massive heart attack and died.
There are a ton of worthy candidates, but I'm going to shamelessly promote Warwick Dunn since he's a fellow FSU alum. His mother was a cop killed in the line of duty just after he turned 18, and he helped raise his younger siblings while playing football and running track at FSU. He started his NFL career in 1997 and founded Warwick Dunn Charities the same year. They've helped with down payments and fully furnished the homes of over 200 single-parent families since then, as well as helping to fund college scholarships and other endeavors. Great player and even better person. He even met with and forgave his mother's murderer, something I don't think I would ever be able to do.
Pauli Murray, born to a sharecropper and spent earlier years terrorized by the Klan. One of the great civil rights leaders of the 20th century, did the intellectual work behind the Brown v. Board case, helped found the Congress of Racial Equality and the National Organization for Women, then became an academic and pioneered women's studies and black studies, then became an Episcopal priest and spent her last years working at a hospice in Philadelphia with AIDS victims in the early 1980s. The church sainted her.
Sir Nicholas Winton. During Nazi occupation of Czechoslovakia, despite being in England, having no training or resources, and being just a stockbroker, he went there and got 669 Jewish children out. Mostly through forging travel documents, finding English families willing to adopt or foster, and only sleeping a handful of hours each night.
Raoul Gustav Wallenberg might not have saved as many lives as people such as Borlaug, but he put himself in more risk than most people mention. He saved thousands and thousands of Jewish people in Nazi-occupied Hungary by passing out fake passports and often directly confronting Nazis. He put his life in danger every day for almost 2 years to help these suffering people. Then he was captured by the Red Army and subsequently died imprisoned in the Soviet Union. A tragic end for an incredible man.
I watched as my parents raised a loving large family with a very, very modest living, all the while helping other families in trauma and taking in children in bad situations. They were busy teachers, but they continued to volunteer for programs and led several community art efforts around their town. They married couples, offered counseling, taught about multiple religions and philosophies, suffered retaliation from angry narcissists, inspired strangers to take up new paths that led those strangers to a feeling of fulfillment, and they were always there to listen and offer guidance. I am deeply and humbly blessed to have been their son, and though I may not be as wonderful as they were, I still know the right example to follow because of them. I miss them dearly, but they exist in my heart. Their lessons are part of me, so as I get older, I hear their words, remember their sacrifices, and try to achieve a fraction, at least, of what they were. I vote my parents.
Miss Rogers. For many people of color, he was the only kind Caucasian man we knew. He taught us that we are all deserving of love and kindness, and we all have the capacity to give it also. Whenever something bad happens, I remember his advice. Look for the helpers, do what they are doing. There are always people helping. Stop complaining and get your hands dirty. That's how we make this a better world.